when we talk about pregnancy, the conversation often goes to the visible stuff, the growing belly, maybe the cravings or that glow people mention. But what's truly astonishing, what really reshapes how we see the human body, are the huge, often unseen transformations happening inside. It's not just about a baby growing. It's like an entire physiological overhaul, a master plan for new life. Today on the Deep Dive, we're heading into this incredible process, our goal, to get you the key insights on the physiological shifts from conception onwards, what experts call adaptations to pregnancy. We're using insights from a nursing ebook chapter, specifically N246 Adaptations to Pregnancy. So get ready for some real aha moments about why pregnant folks experience what they do and, well, what it all means. Okay, let's unpack this monumental journey the body takes. We're kicking things off with arguably the star player, the reproductive system. And prepare yourself for some pretty mind-boggling numbers here. The uterus, right? Normally it's this small pear-shaped organ, weighs about 70 grams, that's barely 2.5 ounces, and it holds maybe 10 milliliters, like a third of an ounce. But fast forward to term pregnancy, and it weighs between 1,100 and 1,200 grams, so 2.4 to 2.6 pounds, and holds a massive 5 liters, over a gallon.
It's an incredible transformation. And it's not just stretching. Early on, first trimester mostly, the growth is through hyperplasia. That means more cells are actually forming.
New cells entirely.
Yeah. And then later, it shifts more to hypertrophy, where the existing muscle cells just get much, much bigger and stretch out.
Wow.
And you can track its position, too. It's quite predictable. Around 20 weeks, the top of the uterus, the fundus, is about halfway between the pubic bone and the belly button.
Okay.
By 36 weeks, it's usually right up under the ribs at the xiphoid process. Highest point.
And I've heard about lightning. What's that about?
Right. Around 40 weeks, sometimes a bit earlier, especially in first pregnancies, the baby's head drops lower into the pelvis. That's lightening. It could actually make breathing a bit easier because there's less pressure on the diaphragm.
A little bit of relief there?
Maybe. And you also get Braxton Hicks contractions. People often hear about these. They're irregular, usually not too frequent, uterine contractions. They happen throughout pregnancy, but often aren't felt until the third trimester.
So not actual labor?
No, not signs of labor starting, sometimes called false labor, but they're just the uterus sort of practicing, you could say.
Got it. But what really struck me was the blood flow.
Oh, absolutely. The increase in blood flow to the uterus and placenta is phenomenal. It reaches about 750 milliliters per minute by term.
750 milliliters a minute.
Yep. That's something like 10 to 15% of the mother's total cardiac output, and about 90% of that blood flow goes straight to the placenta.
It just shows the body's priorities, doesn't it?
It really does. The whole system refocuses. And what's remarkable is how everything in the reproductive system works together. It's not just the uterus. The cervix changes dramatically, too. More water content, much more vascularity, blood flow, That leads to Goodell's sign, which is a noticeable softening, and Chadwick's sign, this kind of bluish-purple color.
Why the color change?
Just that increased blood flow. And then there's the mucus plug.
Ah, yes, the famous mucus plug.
Right. It's thick mucus full of immunoglobulins, these immune proteins. It forms a barrier, basically blocking bacteria from getting into the uterus. Super important protection. When it comes loose, sometimes with a bit of blood that's the bloody show, it can be a sign labor might be starting soon.
Okay.
And the vagina and vulva also get more vascular, so they might look bluish too and feel softer. Plus, there's more lactic acid produced from glycogen. This makes vaginal discharge more acidic pH between 3 and 6.
Which is good for fighting bacteria.
Exactly. It inhibits a lot of harmful bacteria. But the downside is this acidic environment can make yeast infections, Candida, more likely.
Right, I've heard that's common. What about the ovaries and breasts?
Well, the ovaries kind of take a back seat once pregnancy is established. Progesterone, first from the corpus luteum and the ovary, then the placenta, suppresses FSH and LH, so no more ovulation during pregnancy.
Makes sense.
And the breasts, of course, get ready for lactation. Estrogen stimulates the duct tissue. Progesterone promotes the lobules and alveoli, the milk-producing parts. You'll often see veins become more visible, nipples get larger and darker, and those little bumps on the areola.
Montgomery tubercles.
That's them. Montgomery tubercles. They're sebaceous glands. They lubricate the nipples. And you might even see colostrum, that early yellowish milk, appearing quite early on.
It's just such a coordinated effort. Amazing. So for all this growth and preparation, the body's core systems need a major upgrade, especially the cardiovascular system. How does the heart actually cope with, well, pumping for two?
It adapts significantly. The heart muscle itself, the myocardium, actually enlarges by about 10 to 15%.
The heart gets bigger.
Yep. And as the uterus goes up, it pushes the heart upwards and rotates it a bit to the left. And here's something that surprises people. A systolic murmur, which is a specific heart sound, is found in over 95% of pregnant clients.
95%. But isn't a murmur usually a sign of a problem?
Often, yes. But in pregnancy, it's usually just due to these normal changes in blood flow and heart position. It's generally harmless in this context.
Okay, that's reassuring. What about the blood itself?
That's one of the most dramatic changes. Total blood volume increases by a huge amount, 30 to 45%. And this happens quite early, by 6 weeks gestation.
Wow.
And here's the really interesting part. The plasma volume, the liquid part, increases more than the red blood cell volume. Plasma goes up 40–60%, maybe 1,600 milliliter. Red blood cells increase too, but only by 20–30%.
So the blood gets thinner, diluted.
Exactly. It leads to what we call physiologic anemia of pregnancy, or hemodilution. Hemoglobin levels might dip a bit, maybe below 11 GDL.
Wait, so the body intentionally dilutes its blood? That sounds bad. Why?
It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? But it's actually brilliant. This hemodilution, the extra plasma, makes the blood flow more easily. It significantly increases perfusion or blood flow to the placenta, better delivery of oxygen and nutrients to the fetus.
Ah, I see. So it helps the baby even if the parent feels maybe a bit more tired.
Precisely. It's a trade-off, and it's why iron supplements are often prescribed to support that red blood cell production.
Okay, that makes sense now.
And there are other changes too. White blood cell counts, the leukocytes, tend to increase, especially later in pregnancy and postpartum. And critically, pregnancy is what we call a hypercoagulable state.
Hypercoagulable, meaning more likely to clot.
Yes, there's an increase in factors that promote clotting and a decrease in factors that inhibit it. This is protective. It helps prevent excessive bleeding or hemorrhage during childbirth.
A built-in safety mechanism.
Right. But the flip side is a slightly increased risk of forming unwanted blood clots or thrombus. It's a delicate balance.
The body is just constantly balancing these incredible demands. So we have more blood flowing differently. How does the respiratory system keep up with oxygenating all of it? How does it breathe for two?
It's another beautifully coordinated adaptation. Overall oxygen consumption goes up by about 20%. That's to fuel the uterus, the fetus, the placenta, even the extra work the breathing muscles and breasts are doing.
So how does the breathing change? Faster? Deeper?
Mostly deeper. Progesterone plays a big role again. It makes the respiratory center in the brain more sensitive to carbon dioxide. So it stimulates an increase in tidal volume, the amount of air you breathe in and out with each breath. That goes up 30 to 40%.
But not the breathing rate itself.
The rate doesn't usually change much. You're just taking deeper breaths. And estrogen gets involved too. It increases vascularity in the upper respiratory tract.
Leading to
Things like nasal stuffiness, maybe more nosebleeds, epistaxis, sometimes even blocked ears because the eustachian tubes can swell a bit. Common complaints.
right. And the growing uterus must affect breathing physically, too.
Absolutely. It pushes the diaphragm up by about 4 centimeters, but the chest actually expands to compensate. The circumference increases by about 2 centimeters, and the ribs flare out slightly. If you put it all together, these breathing changes plus changes in the kidneys we'll get to help move carbon dioxide efficiently from the fetus to the mother's blood and then out. It's crucial waste removal for the baby.
It's amazing. Fine-tuning your breath for your baby's needs. Okay, let's switch gears to something many pregnant people know well, the gastrointestinal system. It can be a real roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
Beyond morning sickness, what else is shifting?
Oh, definitely more than just nausea and vomiting, though that's common, especially early on. Appetite generally increases too. You need those extra calories. But the whole digestive process changes. Take oral health. Higher estrogen means more blood flow, hyperemia to the gums. This can cause gingivitis, inflamed, bleeding gums. Very common.
So brushing gently is key?
Yes. And sometimes you might even see little benign bumps on the gums called epulis, just an overgrowth of tissue from that increased vascularity. Some people also get excessive salivation, tyolism.
And the dreaded heartburn.
Pyrosis, yes. Classic symptom. 2 main reasons. Progesterone relaxes the lower esophageal sphincter, the valve at the top of the stomach. And at the same time, the growing uterus pushes the stomach upwards. So relaxed valve plus upward pressure equals reflux.
A perfect storm for heartburn. Makes sense. What about further down in the intestines, digestion itself?
Progesterone's effects continue. It relaxes smooth muscle all through the GI tract. This actually slows down how quickly food moves through the intestines.
Is that good or bad?
Well, it's good because it allows more time for nutrient absorption, which is obviously vital. But the downside is it often leads to bloating, feeling distended, and constipation.
Right. And constipation can lead to hemorrhoids.
Exactly. Increased pressure down there contributes too. Even the gallbladder is affected. Progesterone reduces its tone, so bile becomes thicker and empties more slowly. This can increase the risk of gallstones and rarely cause generalized itching called pruritus.
This really explains so many common pregnancy feelings. It's not just random symptoms, it's the whole system adapting,
Right.
which leads us to the urinary system. Filtering for two must be a huge job.
It absolutely is. And you asked earlier why the body takes on this extra work. It's all about managing waste, both from the fetus and the mother's own increased metabolism. It's incredibly efficient.
So what changes do people notice?
Increased frequency and urgency of urination are very common, especially early on when hormones are shifting and later when the uterus puts direct pressure on the bladder. Waking up at night to pee nocturia is also pretty standard.
And inside, what's happening to the kidneys and tubes?
The kidneys themselves and the ureters, the tubes leading to the bladder, actually dilate. They get wider. This starts early, in the second month, and it's often more noticeable on the right side, possibly due to the uterus rotating slightly.
Does that dilation cause problems?
It can. Because the urine flow might slow down a bit, urine stasis, it increases the risk of urinary tract infections, UTIs. That includes asymptomatic bacteria, where there's bacteria but no symptoms, and potentially more serious kidney infections, pyelonephritis.
So important to watch for any signs of infection.
Definitely. And functionally, the kidneys ramp up big time. Renal plasma flow increases 50 to 80%, and the glomerular filtration rate, the GFR, how fast the kidneys filter blood, goes up by 50%.
50%.
Necessary to clear all the extra metabolic waste. And while protein in the urine usually stays stable, the kidneys do excrete more glucose, amino acids, and some vitamins and electrolytes.
So more trips to the bathroom are just part of the kidneys working overtime.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, let's move to the outside, the skin and the framework holding everything up, the musculoskeletal system. Lots of visible changes here. I know people often feel warmer.
Yes, circulation to the skin increases. It's the body's way of getting rid of the extra heat generated by that ramped up metabolism. So feeling warmer, perspiring more, very normal.
And the skin darkening.
Hyperpigmentation, very common, affects up to 90% of pregnant individuals. It's driven by hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and melanocyte-stimulating hormone. You see it as melasma, sometimes called the mask of pregnancy on the face.
Right.
And the linea nigra, that dark line down the abdomen from the belly button, or higher, down to the pubic bone.
Does that go away?
Linea nigra usually fades after birth. Melasma might persist for some people for months or even years. You also get vascular changes on the skin, little angiomas or spider veins, and palmar erythema redness on the palms of the hands and soles of the feet.
Why does that happen?
It's the estrogen causing small blood vessels to dilate. So those skin changes, while visible, are all tied back to those internal hormonal shifts.
It's all connected. Okay, let's talk posture and bones. And that famous waddle, is it real?
Oh, the waddling gait is absolutely real and physiological. Let's start with bones, though. Fetal demand for calcium shoots up, especially in the last trimester. So the mother's body actually doubles its calcium absorption from the gut. And about 28 to 30 grams of calcium gets transferred from maternal bone stores to the fetus.
The body just gives it up.
It prioritizes the fetus, yes. Though maternal bone density usually recovers after pregnancy and lactation. Now, for the joints and posture, hormones again relax and progesterone soften ligaments throughout the body. This increases the mobility of the pelvic joints, getting ready for birth, but it contributes to that waddle.
So the pelvis is literally becoming more flexible.
Exactly. And as the uterus gets bigger, it shifts the center of gravity forward. To compensate, people develop more of a curve in their lower back lordosis. That increased curve, plus the relaxed ligaments, is why backaches and back pain are so common. It's a mechanical consequence.
So every ache and shifted step has a reason behind it. It's incredible. But what's coordinating all this? The hormones seem to be the master conductors here.
That's the perfect analogy. The hormonal interplay is the master orchestration, and the placenta becoming a temporary endocrine organ is just fascinating. Let's run through the key players. From the anterior pituitary gland, you have prolactin, its main job, milk production, gets the breasts ready. Then the posterior pituitary releases oxytocin, famous for uterine contractions in labor, but also triggers the milk ejection reflex or letdown during breastfeeding.
Okay, pituitary covered. What else?
The thyroid gland ramps up. It undergoes hyperplasia, more cells, more blood flow. Thyroid hormone production increases significantly, maybe 40 to 100%. This is absolutely vital for the baby's brain development, their neurological function.
Wow, that critical.
Then parathyroid hormone increases too, by 10 to 30%. Its job is maintaining calcium balance, making sure there's enough for both parent and fetus. The adrenal glands increase output of cortisol and aldosterone, affecting metabolism, stress response, and fluid balance. And insulin from the pancreas. This is interesting. Blood glucose tends to be a bit lower early on, but in the second half of pregnancy, the body develops insulin resistance.
Resistance. So insulin doesn't work as well.
Exactly. The cells don't respond to insulin as effectively. This means the pancreas has to produce more insulin to keep blood sugar control. The adaptive reason. It helps ensure more glucose is available in the bloodstream to pass across the placenta to the rapidly growing fetus.
So the body makes itself less efficient with sugar to feed the baby more. That's clever. What about the hormones the placenta makes itself?
Right, the placental hormones are powerhouses. First up, human chorionic gonadotropin HCG, produced by the early placental cells, the trophoblast. Its main job is to keep the corpus luteum in the ovary going, producing estrogen and progesterone until the placenta takes over that job fully. And of course, HCG is what pregnancy tests detect.
The confirmation signal.
Precisely. Then there's estrogen, made first by the corpus luteum, then massively by the placenta. It does so much. Suppresses FSHLH, maintains the uterine lining, endometrium, increases blood flow everywhere, develops breasts, relaxes ligaments, makes you more sensitive to CO2 for breathing, helps modulate the immune system, aids sodium retention. List goes on.
A real multitasker.
Absolutely. Then human chorionic somatomammotropin, HCS, also called human placental lactogen, or HPL. This one also helps make glucose available for the fetus. It acts as an insulin antagonist, contributing to that insulin resistance we talked about.
More glucose for baby.
Exactly. Then there's progesterone, also crucial, produced by the corpus luteum, then the placenta. Stimulates uterine growth and blood supply, promotes fat storage for energy reserves, helps breast development, increases skin blood flow, is also an insulin antagonist, helps retain sodium, and importantly, it relaxes smooth muscle, keeping the uterus quiet early on, but also affecting the gut, blood vessels, bladder.
Responsible for a lot of those side effects we mentioned.
It is. And finally, relaxin, produced by the corpus luteum, the uterine lining, decidua, and the placenta. It inhibits uterine contractions, softens connective tissue, especially the cervix, preparing it for labor, and relaxes those pelvic joints, giving more mobility for birth.
It's like a perfectly timed hormonal symphony.
That's exactly what it is, each hormone playing its part at the right time.
Incredible. So it really does affect every system, even things like vision and hearing. Let's quickly touch on overall metabolism, senses, and the immune system. What's the typical weight gain picture?
The generally recommended range is about 11.3 to 16 kilograms, or 25 to 35 pounds, for someone starting at a healthy weight. This represents an accumulated energy store of about 3.5 kilograms, or 30,000 kilocalories, over the whole pregnancy.
And fluid retention, swelling.
Yeah, the body needs more water overall. And dependent edema, swelling in the ankles and feet, especially later in the day, is really common. Affects maybe 70% of people. It's due to fluid shifting from blood vessels into the surrounding tissues, the interstitial space. But even having 4 or 5 liters of extra fluid as edema isn't usually a concern unless there are other signs like high blood pressure. And just to recap metabolism, we have that increased insulin resistance needing more insulin production.
Got it. What about eyes and ears?
Small changes can happen. Eyes might experience corneal edema, a bit of swelling in the cornea. It can make wearing contact lenses uncomfortable for some.
Good to know. And ears.
Estrogen can affect the eustachian tubes, potentially causing a feeling of blocked ears or even mild temporary hearing loss for some individuals.
Wow. And the immune system. Does it change?
It does, quite significantly. Immune function is altered, sort of dialed back in some ways. This is crucial to prevent the mother's body from rejecting the fetus, which is genetically different foreign tissue, essentially.
So it protects the pregnancy.
Yes. An interesting side effect is that some autoimmune conditions might actually improve during pregnancy because of this modulation. But the flip side is potentially increased susceptibility to certain infections, particularly fungal ones like Candida and some viruses.
Another balancing act. It's just mind-blowing how comprehensive these adaptations are. So with all this complexity, how is pregnancy actually confirmed? I know there are different levels of signs.
You're right. We classify them into 3 groups: presumptive, probable, and positive indications. And understanding why some signs are only presumptive is key. They're often the first things noticed, but they aren't definitive because other things can cause them. There's subjective changes the person reports.
Like missing a period.
Exactly. Amenorrhea, missing a period, is classic. But stress, heavy exercise, hormonal issues, even being underweight can cause that too. Nausea and vomiting.
Yeah.
Very common in pregnancy, but could easily be a stomach bug or even stress.
Fatigue.
Huge one early on. But again, could be illness, lack of sleep, many things. Urinary frequency, could be UTI. Breast changes, tenderness, size increase, tingling. Can happen before a period or with birth control pills. Skin darkening. Hormonal changes unrelated to pregnancy can cause that too.
Even the Chadwick sign, that bluish color.
Even that. While typical in pregnancy due to increased blood flow, pelvic congestion from infection or other hormonal issues could potentially mimic it, though it's a stronger sign. And quickening, feeling the baby move for the first time, often like flutters or gas.
Easily mistaken for digestion.
Very easily, especially early on. Intestinal gas, normal muscle contractions, peristalsis.
Yeah.
It can feel similar. So these are all clues, strong suggestions, but not proof positive on their own.
That makes perfect sense why they're called presumptive. So what moves us closer to certainty? The probable signs.
Exactly. Probable indications are objective signs that an examiner finds, making pregnancy much more likely, but still carrying a tiny possibility of another cause. Things like a positive pregnancy test detecting HCG in urine or blood. These are very accurate now, but extremely rare conditions can cause false positives.
Okay.
An examiner feeling the outline of the fetus, or specific changes in the uterus like softening of the lower part Hagar's sign. These are strong indicators.
Stronger, but not absolute. So what is absolute proof? The positive signs.
Yes, the positive indications. These are the signs that can only be explained by pregnancy. There are basically three. One, hearing the fetal heart tones, usually with a Doppler ultrasound device.
Hearing the heartbeat.
Two, visualization of the fetus by ultrasound. Seeing the baby on the screen confirms it. And three, an examiner actually feeling distinct fetal movements. Not just the mother reporting them, but the examiner feeling them too.
Hearing it, seeing it, or feeling it move definitively. Those are the confirmation.
Those are the gold standards, no doubt then.
And that brings us towards the end of this really fascinating deep dive into the adaptations of pregnancy. It's just an astounding physiological journey, isn't it? Every single system adapting in these intricate, sometimes surprising, but always profound ways, all to support the parent and the developing baby.
It truly is a marvel of biology.
Yeah. And understanding these changes, I think, gives such a deeper appreciation for the body's resilience, its capacity for transformation. It connects the dots, makes sense of so many experiences, the discomforts, the shifts, seeing it not as random events, but as this connected biological masterpiece.
Well said.
So as you go about your day, maybe something to think about. Given these profound systemic changes the body undergoes during pregnancy, this complete re-engineering, what does that tell us about our inherent capacity for transformation and adaptation in other parts of life? You know, beyond reproduction, definitely food for thought. Thanks for diving deep with us today.